Good morning. If you're familiar with my channel, you'll know I mostly make videos about cycling. Sometimes other stuff, film reviews for example. Sometimes I made stuff about my camper van when I had it, and occasionally I'd make some kind of polemic or make some political comment which would annoy various people, but who cares, that's life. But today I thought I'd do something a little bit different, and I want to talk about photography. Now, photography has always been one of my passions. When I was 16, I got a summer job in a bank and I saved up all my money and I bought a nickel matte FTN with a 50mm lens, and I loved that camera. Obviously a film camera for those of you who are too young to remember when we had things like film before digital. But over the last couple of years, I suppose I've tended to mostly take pictures on my phone, like we all do. And yes, it's a wonderful device. You tend to always have it with you 24/7 in most cases, certainly mine. And so it's always there. And as the phones have gotten better and better, and I've just recently got an iPhone 16 Pro Max, it has a wonderful, wonderful camera, but it is not a camera. It is a phone with a camera device within it. And I went up to London last week with one of my actual cameras and my phone, and I really got back into the enjoyment of the physical use of an actual camera. Now, the camera I want to talk about is the Fuji X100. Now, if you're interested in photography, you will know that the latest X100 series, which is the X100 is in very, very short supply, and people are raving about it. I've watched all these videos on YouTube about it, and yes, it appears a wonderful camera. Mine I bought when the first X100 came out, so it didn't even have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It was just an X100, probably about 8 or 10 years ago, and I used it a bit since then, but a bit at the time, but I haven't used it very much since. So I went up to London and I took some photos, and boy, what a revelation it was. Because okay, the 16 Pro Max is bigger than a normal phone, but even so, the process of taking this out of your pocket, because you don't want to carry it around in London these days because there are so many people on motorbikes trying to, or electric bicycles rather, trying to steal it from you. So you don't want to walk around it like that. So you have it in your pocket. You've got to take it out and you've got to open the camera device and you've got to kind of hold it like that. And yes, I know they've introduced this button here at the side, which I find really annoying because you press it by mistake. And then you look at the screen and you're holding it like that with all the other millions of people and you're taking photos. And then what you scroll through hundreds, thousands of photos. And maybe you post them, or post some of them on Instagram. And I post some on Instagram, and I do like Instagram. But it's not really photography, is it? It's taking pictures, it's taking snaps, it's documenting the minutiae of your daily life, which, yes, I'm sure is of great interest to sociologists and will be in hundreds of years when they think, what are all these dreadful billions of pictures that are cluttering up the AI computer farms in the Pacific? But it's not photography. And although this phone is the best part of £1,000 and it takes superb pictures, I hopefully want to try and get into the habit of, yes, continuing to carry it in my pocket, yes, use it for those snaps that otherwise I would miss, but if I want to go on a photography trip and I want to go up to London, which I plan to do shortly, and take some pictures, I am going to concentrate on using this camera, the Fuji X100. And when I went up to London last week and took a number of pictures, I set it so that you saw in black and white because I wanted to get into black and white photos. And I actually set it to take raw and JPEG. So you can look through the viewfinder on the X100. It's got an electronic viewfinder as well as an optical viewfinder. On the electronic viewfinder, you can see it in black and white. On the optical viewfinder, of course, you see it in colour. But the discipline of this camera with its fixed 23mm, 35mm film camera equivalent lens, compared to having your phone and being able to swipe in and swipe out and do whatever you want. This fixed lens camera, you have to think a little bit. You have to move your feet a little bit. You have to observe the scene a little bit. You have to try and decide what you want in the picture, what do you not want in the picture. And that discipline is at the same time constricting, but at the same time incredibly liberating. You take different pictures with it. You view the world differently from a fixed lens. The world is not an iPhone. Okay, the world is not what an iPhone sees. The world is not what you see on Instagram. The world is different. And with a camera like this, you see the world as it is, and then you create images. And I was talking to a friend of mine recently who wanted to get into photography. And I was saying to her, don't take pictures. Look for pictures and then take the picture. In other words, you use your eye for composition, for a subject, to see how the light plays on your subject, to see how your composition works within the frame, and then and only then press the button. So many people, and I've been guilty of it myself in the past, so many people, you wander around with your phone, you look up and you press the button. You haven't made a picture, you haven't seen a picture, you've taken a picture, you've pressed the button, and you've hoped that what comes out of the iPhone at the end is a good picture. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Now, you're going to say, well, Julian, you sound like a pompous, arrogant asshole like you do in most of your cycling videos. So how about showing us some of your photos and letting us see whether we think you've actually got any photographic talent, or whether you're just like everybody else, but you like to pretend that you're not. And don't we all do that? I've been doing it for 68 years, and I've been pretty good at it. Okay, I've been caught out a few times, let's be honest. But anyway, that's another story. So, the Fuji X100 23mm, 35mm equivalent lens with this nice metal lens hood with this wrist strap, which I have recently purchased from Amazon. In fact, I purchased it yesterday because I don't want this camera nicked out of my hands when I'm walking down Oxford Street trying to take pictures, is what I'm going to go up to London shortly with and spend a day in the beautiful March sunshine, one of the first beautiful March sunshine days we have had in the United States of Kingdom in 2025. So let me leave you with some of the photos that I took on my last trip. And if you like them, leave a comment. If you don't like them, leave a comment. If you're interested in photography, well, welcome to this aspect of my channel, which up until now has been largely dedicated to cycling. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the pictures, and see you next time.